Hello my friends, I'm Dr. Siddharth Gaur and I welcome you back to my channel, Ideas to Serve. Friends, in this video series, I'm going to talk to you about the power of habits. My video series is inspired by the book by the same name called The Power of Habits by Mr. Charles Duhigg. Who is he? He is a New York Times best-selling author. He's a journalist who works for the New York Times and he's a Pulitzer Prize winner. He was deployed to Iraq. He landed in Baghdad and then he took a helicopter down to a city which is 170 kilometers south of Baghdad called as Kufa. Now the main job of this major was to stop riots from happening, and riots were kind of a big deal at that point of time. They cost several innocent people their lives. So when the major came to town, he met up with the mayor of Kufa and they had a long discussion and they were trying to come up with ideas of how they can reduce the riots. The major had a long list of requests from the mayor of Kufa, like if he could get rid of the gunslingers or the suicide bombers. But the mayor said he couldn't do anything about it. So what the major told the mayor is that can he remove all the food vendors from the central plaza of Kufa? And the mayor smiled and said, yes, I don't think that should be a problem. But he was surprised as to why the major asked him to do that. Now after a week, a lot of crowds started gathering around the Grand Mosque of Kufa, which is a central site at the center of the plaza. By 4:35, the crowd had become so big that it was almost good enough for a riot to begin. Immediately, the major was called and asked to be prepared to help in case a riot broke out. But one very interesting thing happened. Just before the crowd became big enough for the riot to happen at around 5:30ish, 6 in the evening, you could see from the drone footage that people started looking all over the place for the food vendors because it had become time for their dinners. They were hungry. They started looking around for the kebab vendors. But if you remember, the major had asked the mayor to remove all the food vendors from the plaza. So what happened is many of the people at the outer ring of the crowd, they started going back home because it was their dinner time. Now the people within the inner rings started looking at the people at the outer rings and thought that they could probably a better ride some other place, and they started vanishing themselves. In about 45 minutes, the entire central plaza and the Grand Mosque was completely empty and no riot took place. In fact, no riots had taken place at that site for the last 9 months since the time the US major was deployed there. So when Charles asked the major that how did he know that removing the food vendors would prevent the riot from happening, the major smiled and said that he was not sure that this would happen, but what he had understood since the last couple of months that he was deployed there is that the people of Kufa typically were habituated to have their dinners early between 5:30 to 7. And when they did not see the food vendors around in the central plaza, they went back home. In fact, the military has to wear a pair of glasses to look at people as to what habits drive them. The military itself is a machinery that helps you to work on your bad habits and change them and also adopt new good habits. For example, if a normal person is shot bullets at, what he will do? He will turn around and start running because that is what he is habituated to do. But in the military, we teach the soldiers the habit of standing our grounds and shooting back at the enemy. In military, we teach all the soldiers good habits of communication skills so that when they communicate with their wives or their husbands via emails or phone calls, they do not end up having a fight, so that they are not distracted when they are on patrol duty in a war zone. So friends, this was the impetus that drove Charles to write this book and study habits. In fact, today we know more about the science of habit formation than ever before. So whether they are individual, organizational, or social habits, the secret mantra, my friends, is that every habit has a typical structure, and if you understand the structure of a habit, you can easily change them. In my next video, I'll be talking to you about the science behind habits. Please do not forget to like and share my video, and also to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll see you soon. Bye.